Hi, I'm Colleen Derrick with Swaggers Insurance Services. I'm a financial planner, and this week our mini course is on the topic of reset. Now, that can mean a lot of things to a lot of areas of our lives, a lot of situations. We're going to try and simplify it this month. So we started with stop. Unclench your jaw, relax your shoulders, breathe, and reset into this moment to join me as we talk about resetting in our hearts and our minds and our souls and our bodies. 4 pillars to thriving. We started with week 1 with our heart. And we remember that from our heart, that's where our passion stems from, and that's often where our relationships are mostly impacted by our heart state. And so taking a stock of where that is, because it makes a huge difference in how we see others, how we receive what they say and how they behave towards us, and how we respond, and how intentional we are about responding. Because when our heart is rich and alive and nourished, we tend to be more aware, a little bit more influential, and intentional about how we respond and react to others. Week 2, we talked about our soul, that this is the wellspring of our inspiration and our motivation for where we're going in life and the journey and how we're doing the journey to get there. That our soul is often evident in our spending patterns, and how we balance and structure our resources in our life. We discussed that we often embrace life and enjoy others and find even challenging experiences we're celebrating and appreciating when our soul is refreshed and sound. The 3rd week, which was last week, we moved on to our mind. A sound mind in our culture. We talked a little bit about mental illness and how it impacts every aspect of our life. We talked about how it can be really the rudder of the ship of our life. We talked about cognitive ability. We discussed how that impacts our choices and our decision-making abilities. Refreshing our mind, having it enjoy space and problem solving when we take our mind away from the problem we're trying to solve and put it in different scenarios. When we have discussions with people who disagree with us, how that is able to broaden and enhance our understanding and our creativity and our approaches as we try new things. This brings us to this week of strength. In our strength, our body, that's what enacts and enables us to put into action the past 3 weeks. Motivation is hard to act on when we don't have strength to follow through on it. Inspiration is very challenging to manifest when we don't have strength. When our mind is clear and concise, but is disconnected with a body that is sluggish and non-responsive, then our mind, although powerful, is almost trapped and captive. So strength allows us to act on ideas and passion. 4 components of strength: power, speed, agility or dexterity, and flexibility. When we are weak or use up all of our strength, we have low resistance, weaker immune systems, and apathy. Now, we talked about apathy before, and we do know that these things are interlinked. This can affect our ability to follow through on decisions. So we were able to make the decision, which was our mind, but when our body doesn't have strength, we can't follow through and act on that very well. Or maybe we give it a little surge of effort and then we don't have the consistency or the strength or the endurance to power through to completion. It also can make us a target for predators of all types. We know that in nature, when there is a weak member of the herd, the rest of the herd is fleeing and running, and that weak one can't keep up, and it ends up being isolated, separated, and then it is vulnerable. We have a hard time keeping up with work, friends, and family when we're fatigued and run down, thus making us an easier target. When we talk about seniors abuse of seniors or elders abuse, we often notice that this weakness in body, even though maybe it shouldn't affect finances or it shouldn't affect their ability to assert healthy boundaries, often it does. When there is a weak body, a compromised immune system, limited mobility, these seniors tend to be greater targets for elder abuse. But when, I love our but whens in this series, but when our strength is refreshed and built up and we have endurance and power, we have an engagement in life that is elevated and our health is directly enhanced when our body is allowed to reset with this greater strength, with this renewed rejuvenation. This enables us to fight off disease. We adapt better to change. We see dexterity and balance established. We also see dexterity and balance in life as well as physical ability. We start to see the ability to keep up with friends and family, with changes in the world, with technology. We see a better resiliency towards, again, this elder abuse. We don't see as much of a victimization, even if some of the others are slugging. If we are physically strong, if we are physically able, if we are mobile and have the ability to care for ourselves with our dexterity of our hands, if we can dress ourselves, bathe ourselves, toilet ourselves, feed ourselves, transition ourselves, these are the daily living skills, right? And we need to have that ability to do these daily living skills, which gives us independence, allowing us to have our interactions with others be because of choice and to be more of a give and a take rather than from a need position of vulnerability. When you find your sweet spot, it is a beautiful thing. Because as you allow yourself to relax, your body follows. Our bodies follow when they feel we're in a safe spot, a sweet spot. This allows our blood pressure and our breathing to reset back to normal. Our ligaments become more elastic. As oxygenation flows through to our extremities, circulation improves. All of this happens when we find our sweet spot. Have you ever gone home and flumped down on your mom's couch and just felt like an oasis from the world, and then taken that time to notice, how do your feet feel? Were your toes clenched and you didn't realize it? Were your muscles all tense and you didn't realize it? It's time to take our friend Patty from Peaceful Minds advice and do a body scan. All you did was flump down on your mom's couch, and yet your body knew it was home. It was a safe, sweet spot where somebody was going to care about you, probably spoil you a little bit. My mom makes sure that she has my son's favorite snacks there. When my other son comes out, she makes sure she has something for both him and his partner that they'll find a little bit of a treat. My husband goes and raids a freezer, like, you know where it is? And he does. They're in the freezer and they're creamsicles. She has started to buy soda water because that's what we enjoy. We're grown adults. But my mom still makes that a sweet spot for us to be when we come and visit. And this starts to happen. It's called a smile. And it's remarkable what a smile does for the rest of our body and our well-being. As our body shifts and resets into that relaxed, safe space, our brain chemistry adjusts, all those other benefits we talked about occur. It's a big thing. It's a huge deal. Another time we want to reset is possibly when we've been growing and strengthening. We know that when we strengthen our muscles, they tear and then they get bigger. So you see the young men with the big, huge arms coming around, right? And they're like, oh, I'm tearing the t-shirt armbands, right? Why does that happen? Because they need to reset into a larger space that they have grown to require. We need to reset our position as we grow in all sorts of areas, not just physically, right? As we grow mentally, we often have to reset the foundation of our mind to be able to embrace and have space for and accommodate these new ideas and thoughts. As we build in strength in other areas of our life, again, it takes more space. And that's really a good time to say, where is my footprint? Where have I established? Maybe I need to reset that to a more appropriate space. When we take the time to refresh our bodies, when we've had that good nap, when we've been in the hammock, we've napped in our sunbeam, when we've curled up into our blankets, put our head on our pillow, and then we wake up in the morning, do you sometimes feel a little disoriented? Yeah. When we have summertime and we've been out maybe sleeping in a bit and gardening and out on our pedal bikes perhaps, maybe you love to just sit in your Adirondack chair with your nice cold drink in your hand, savoring space. And then all of a sudden the air starts to get cooler and we start to shift into this next stage of autumn after your wonderful, restful summer. And you kind of need to adjust a little bit, right? We don't quite fit in that spot anymore. We need to reset. We need to take that rest and that rejuvenation. We need to start getting our bodies going, getting the blood flowing. We need to reset into that new space and prepare to exit out of that rest, nappy, sluggish recovery zone and usher ourselves into the next phase. A wonderful time to reset is after a time of rest and prepare for that next spot. And these are the things for your muscles, right? You cannot do a strength building workout regimen without rest built in. We hear the recommendation that if you're exercising on Monday, you take Tuesday to work on your lower body. If you worked your upper body on Monday, or if you worked your lower body on Monday, you're going to work your upper body on Tuesday. Why? It's so that the part of your body, the muscle groups that you worked on that Monday are not being worked again on Tuesday. Why? Because they need a time of rest so they can reset. And then they're ready for action again on Wednesday. We can see this also in our finances. Although we're not really going to go into that into this mini course, we just, again, can take these principles and philosophies and we can extrapolate them and apply them to our finances. So a very quick example of that is if you have a GLWB product, which is for people that don't have pensions, we can build you your own private pension sort of a product there that guarantees you'll have income for life. They often come with this reset feature that says, hey, if your guaranteed bonus is lower than what the actual market value is because your market value grew, we're going to reset your base at that new level of heightened growth. There are all sorts of places in finance where we apply this reset philosophy. If you want to hear more about that, please do reach out to us at swaggers.ca, at swaggersinsurance@gmail.com. And if you want to know more about what God and the Bible have to say about resetting, because there's a lot in there, and especially I would refer you to Leviticus. It's a great place to go for talking about reset in a number of ways. Metaphorically and literally, we see a lot of reset references there. You can join the facebook.com/groups/God's Money Guide. And we take more of a search and a dive into God's principles in His Word and how we apply them to our lives and how we apply them to our finances. So please do reach out and get in touch with us. Of course, you can always call me and talk to me in person. I do answer my phone and I like talking with you. And if you don't get a hold of me, leave a message. I will call you back. 403-934-5025.